Okay, fantastic. So welcome everybody to today's session, which is of course how to trade silver is going to be the main focus of today's training. And we'll be going through how to trade silver, live market analysis. We'll go through the 5 secrets to trading silver. I'm going to also go through a silver price forecast with you as well. And as always, we'll be answering any questions. So any questions or comments, feel free to put those into the chat. So before we get into it, let me just introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading, as internationally respected experts. Our analysis and our opinions on the metals, energies, the agricultural markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. Over the last 10 years, myself and my team of experts, we've trained and mentored thousands of private traders from all over the world on our exclusive research-driven strategies. For further information on our services, please just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. And from there, you can find more information about the live trading room service. Also, make sure you go to our YouTube channel as well. So if you're on YouTube watching the recording, just search for the Gold and Silver Club and you can find all of the latest commodity reports. And do make sure you subscribe to the binary.com channel as well. That way you are kept updated with all of the recordings of the webinars too. Okay, so with that, let's get into it. There's actually been some fairly large moves on the metals over the course of this week. We've seen gold breaking out to 8-month highs. Silver as well has breached the swing highs. It's very close to $16 per ounce. We have the FOMC statement, which is scheduled in 1 hour's time. And then later on in the week, we've got non-farm payrolls on Friday as well. So there's a lot happening in the market right now. And you really want to be aware of what the major catalysts are for trading silver and how to capitalize on these for opportunities in the market. The first secret to trading silver is really understanding news trading. So we actually have an FOMC statement. We have both of these this week. So we've got FOMC statement in 1 hour and also non-farm payroll on Friday. These are key fundamental drivers for the precious metals. Now, the Federal Reserve is not anticipated to increase interest rates. And as such, we have seen the US dollar sell off this week. We've seen gold and silver continue to break out. Gold is back above $1,300. Silver is very close to $16 an ounce. On the actual statement itself, we'll be looking at the rhetoric and, of course, whether they confirm that they're not going to go ahead and increase interest rates this time round, but future monetary guidance. Also, Jerome Powell, as head of the Federal Reserve, he has more influence over the US dollar's value than any other person, and his speeches are followed closely by traders and often present regular news trading opportunities. We've, of course, got that just coming up very shortly. Then this Friday, we have non-farm payrolls, and that's another key fundamental driver for the precious metal. That report is released on the first Friday of every single month. And of course, non-farm payrolls data is very important because the Federal Reserve assesses that data to determine whether the economy is strong enough to withstand higher interest rates. So of course, that is very important with respect to the future moves that we could see with the US dollar and also the precious metals, in particular gold and silver. So that's what we'll be looking out for today in approximately 1 hour's time. The FOMC statement and Friday trade opportunities, which result from non-farm payrolls as well. Okay, so that's the major news drivers that you need to be aware of. The second secret to trading silver is then, in my opinion, the gold to silver ratio. So this is very important. It will show you ultimately the ratio of course, gold to silver. So essentially what it would look like in terms of how many ounces of silver you would need to buy 1 ounce of gold. What you tend to find with the gold to silver ratio is when it is selling off. So at the moment, as of earlier on today, it was at 82 to 1. When it's going lower, and that's been selling off from 84 to 1, and in fact over December the peak it was around 86 to 1. When the gold to silver ratio breaks down, it means it takes less ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold, which does tend to mean that silver, from a percentage performance point of view, will outperform gold. And normally when the gold silver ratio in general is breaking down and selling off, it marks a low point for gold and silver, and they often rally from there. If you consider over the summer months here at peak trade war tensions, and also in November and December, the ratio hit over 86-1, which was the highest it had been in over 10 years. Once it started breaking down in mid-December, it marked the low for gold and silver. They then started to build up momentum, and now we've sold off again here with a ratio over the last couple of days, and that marks silver and gold trading around their 8-month highs at the moment. So the gold silver ratio, when it sells off, when it goes lower, it's bullish for gold and silver, but more specifically, silver usually outperforms gold. This is what it looks like since about 2001 here. If you have a look at the price action here with gold, and you can see here often when the ratio has peaked and got higher than 80-1, when it starts to correct, it has formed the low of some very significant rallies here for the precious metals. And that's what we're coming out of over 2018 here, where we've hit over 80-1. In fact, we're still above 80-1. We're rolling over, and gold has the potential to really start picking up momentum over this year. The third secret to trading silver is seasonality. And you have to understand that January and February are some of the most bullish months for the precious metals, and we're seeing quite significant upside at the moment over just the last few days. Silver's up about 2% or so. In fact, December as well, for December, silver was up over 7% to the upside. Very significant month there. And generally speaking, you'll tend to find there's more upside over December. January and February, these are very strong seasonal months, and then in the summer months, particularly from about May onwards, the saying goes in the market, sell in May and go away. So basically sell your positions and then go on holiday and then come back later on in the summer when the market starts to recover again, which is not a recommendation, but that's the saying. So sell in May and go away. And that's normally when we start to see that correction occur over the metals here. But we're not at that time of year yet. We're actually just moving, of course, this week into February. Friday will be the 1st of February. And this is where we're looking for this big upswing higher for silver. So we could get this temporary dip at the end of the month where we're at right now, potentially non-farm payrolls around even today's FOMC statements and profit taking, but with a view to then see higher prices. So certainly want to be aware of seasonality. You can use this month to month to actually trade the markets with a high degree of probability if you combine that with major news items, your understanding of cycles in the market, US dollar. Be aware of European Central Bank announcements, non-farm payrolls, and also FOMC statements, which then leads me on to the fourth secret to trading gold. This, in my opinion, is very important to understand, that the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, over 2018 did not fail to kill a rally in gold and silver each time there was a European Central Bank conference. And even last week on Thursday, we had an ECB conference and we saw gold reach its lowest point of the week. So that has relatively high probability as a news item. Usually if you see, Mario Draghi is speaking this Thursday, if you've got a long on gold and silver, we at the Gold and Silver Club would normally look to start taking profits, or even look to reverse position and go short if we know there's going to be a European Central Bank announcement that week. So just what I would do from a calendar point of view, you always want to, I'm sure everybody's got this anyway, but you want to have a calendar marked out for the year ahead when you trade. And now's as good a time as any to do that in January. What you want to do is just mark out all of the dates of FOMC statements over 2018. Mark all of the dates of non-farm payrolls over 2019, that is. So you go through all the FOMC statements, there's 8 per year. Add all the non-farm payrolls, which is the first Friday of every month, but then make sure you put in the European Central Bank announcements. It doesn't really matter what market you trade actually, because it will move all the Forex markets, it will move gold, silver, oil, but normally it has a negative impact that day on the metals. So those are some of the key drivers, and it will help you. Sometimes you might have a position on silver and you'll suddenly wonder why it got whacked to the downside, and usually it's because you've had some sort of major news like a European Central Bank announcement, an FOMC statement, or non-farm payrolls. So that's what I would suggest is worthwhile doing, just having your trading calendar marked out for the year so that you know when the major news items are, so that you can protect yourself or take advantage of those. And then the fifth secret to trading silver is being aware of the US dollar inverse correlation with silver. So, for example, this week, the US dollar has been selling off. It's been under pressure. Silver's broken out, broken back towards the swing highs, back towards $16. Gold broke out to 8-month highs. So normally what you see is when the US dollar, because gold and silver, the way they're priced with most brokers, you're priced against the US dollar, unless you're trading it against another currency like Australian dollar, or you're trading it against, for example, the pound. But most platforms, binary included, they price gold and silver against the US dollar. So if the US dollar is strong, gold and silver will be weak, and if the US dollar is weak, then gold and silver normally they're rallying, they're going up. So I'm sure you're aware of this inverse correlation, but if you're not, it's useful when you trade major news items to put them side by side. You're watching the US dollar, you're watching gold, you're watching silver, and you can very clearly see that inverse correlation just playing out in the market. Okay, so that's really the main gist of the secrets to trading silver. And what I will do, I'll bring you over to my charts. We'll go through that together, and I'll just show you some of the trade ideas that I'm looking at on silver at the moment. So you should be able to see that just very shortly. Okay, that's just right. Yeah, actually, let's have a look first. We'll just quick checking. You can hear me okay. You can see the screen okay. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks very much, Sharice. So first of all, let's just have a rundown of what's moving, what's up and what's down at the moment. So we've actually got positions right now. Our oil trade has done very well. We've notched up the stop loss right up on that position. We're up over 200, about 15 points on the trade from our 52.50 entry this week. So that's moving really well. Silver right now is trading just under $16 per ounce, pulling back a bit prior to FOMC statement, but still is up 0.5% on the day. Australian dollar rallied today. New Zealand dollar is up, pounds up. Gold is pulling back off about 1350 zone today. Platinum as well. We're still long on our platinum trade. Gold silver ratio is breaking down. S&P 500 had a nice pop to the upside today, and Japanese yen is about flat on the day at the moment. Okay, so let's just bring that over to the chart. So I'll just talk you through, I guess it's worthwhile just showing you silver first of all, of course. We'll go through silver, and I'll just talk you through some of the other trade setups that I'm looking at the moment as well. So silver, I go higher time frame. Let's look at the weekly. I've mentioned this a lot on the week ahead commodity reports that we put out, and also commodities corners on binary.com as well, that you really want to be focused on the higher time frames with the metals at the moment. Look at the monthly chart, where silver right now, in my opinion, as we go into February, we've been basing for about 4 or 5 months. We've now got the confirmed breakout. We broke above this neckline over the last week, and that was a major previous level of support, support that was resistance, and now we're breaking through it. For me on the monthly, there's a lot more upside to go on silver. At the moment, it's around $15.91. I'm looking for $16, and then once we're above that, to get going to about $16.50 to $17. So silver, I would certainly look at the potential for quite a lot more upside on that to come back to around the 1760 zone, possible over the next quarter. So higher time frame, I do like silver for more upside. If you look at that on the weekly chart, we've had a bullish engulf. Bear in mind that this sell-off last week coincided with the European Central Bank announcement, but basically we found support right at the previous swing low there, going back to July of 2018 as well. Bounced off that $15.20 level, formed a bullish engulfing candle last week, and we're springboarding higher with the potential for a lot more upside as we go into February. Now, what I would look at from a trade idea point of view is we've got the FOMC statement today, and we've got later in the week non-farm payroll. I am looking at a range on silver of approximately $15, about $50 up to $16. So therefore, I'm interested in any pullbacks. I don't know if we will get it, but if we do, any pullbacks to this previous level of resistance turn support, 1550, I'm looking to be a buyer now, to buy in on any pullbacks and then take the price back higher. I don't want to FOMO in and chase it when I've got resistance on the range coming in at $16. So I'm not going to buy it at the perceived weekly high. I want to get in at the weekly low, and if I don't get my entry, I'll be patient and I will wait for that to happen. So basically, silver, that's what we're looking at the moment. We're looking at the potential to enter in on any sell-off. So if it gets whacked today on the FOMC or on Friday on the non-farm payrolls, we look to enter. If it holds up really strong and it's at $16 going into next week, then I'd likely be targeting a breakout towards $16.50 going into the following week. So really, that's what we're looking at with silver at the moment. If you look at gold right now, in fact, gold on the daily is getting the pullback that we've been anticipating. We talked about this yesterday in our live trading room, that you don't want to FOMO in and buy it right at the top. So we had a perceived range of 13.15 to 13.17 as the high here for gold this week, but we'll see if we do get more follow through on the FOMC statement. It's definitely a confirmed buy at the moment, but you want to be wary when you get these sort of big jumps in price that you can suddenly see pullbacks. And I'm still interested to buy into gold for another position, but I'd like to get back in on a pullback entry, very similar to silver. I'd be more interested to buy back here around the 12.95 to 12.98 zone, buy back in at those levels and look for the price action to basically springboard higher from those levels. So that's the sort of price action I want. If it doesn't pull back this week, what I will do going into next week is I will likely just enter. Once I get my ranges, I'll look to take advantage of the next rally up higher here, taking a move back to around 1330s if we do just see not much of a pullback, very shallow retracements over the course of this week for gold. And then oil, so we've got our long positions on oil right now. In fact, our target is not far off, which is just here at 55.70. We've had a really nice solid move on this week. We're up now 220 points on the move there for oil. That's moved really well. I covered that in detail on commodities report and also the week ahead report as well. Exactly what we're looking at here for a V-shaped reversal, looking to enter in close to 52 zone. And it's looking really good here. Looks like we should get a retest of about the 55 zone over the course of this week. And it can be quite a big move on FOMC statement as well. So oil is definitely one to be watching too. And S&P 500 looks pretty bullish at the moment. We may get a retest about 2,685 this week, but certainly the price action does look strong going into the FOMC statement. We're also selling short the US dollar, Canadian dollar, which on the weeklies gave us nice confirmation on the break of the low this week, but we got a retrace entry. On the dailies, it's almost at the point where it's breaking below this swing low on the left. We're up on this trade 80 pips at the moment. If it does continue to break the swing low, that's where it could really pick up momentum to the downside. So we've got the potential for more follow through there. So we're really watching those levels very carefully at the moment. In terms of a position right now, we've got the FOMC statement, which is coming up now in approximately 40 minutes time. That's what we look at. Also platinum as well. Platinum, I'm basically got a long position on this at the moment, which is up 150 points. You can see here I'm looking at basically if I was to re-enter into platinum, I like platinum sub $800. So each time it gets under $800, for me, that's a good buy zone to re-establish long positions on platinum and look for a buy order. We're already long this, and it might well be that it just breaks above the swing highs. I'm targeting about 835 to about 850 on the next upward swing on platinum, but I do like platinum for a long when it gets sub $800. So really that's it, guys, in terms of what we're looking at here as we get to the FOMC statement. That's what I would look at in terms of the 5 secrets to trading silver. And again, just as a recap on that, basically what we're looking for is a retrace entry. In my opinion, that's our preferred entry. Or if we just continue to break out, I'm looking for resistance to come in just above $16 per ounce. But ideal retrace entry for me would be about $15.50 on silver. Okay, great stuff. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a bit of clarity in terms of how to trade silver. And if you would like to get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars, you want access to real-time trade alerts and trading research and market insights, and access to our private members academy website, as well as get support and one-to-one mentoring, very simply, the link to do so is www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. Click on that link, make an application, and we will, of course, get in touch with you ASAP. Okay, so with that, I wish you all good trading. Enjoy the rest of your day. And, of course, we'll see you on the next one. And thanks again to Sharice and the team at Binary.com for hosting today's session. Thanks, guys. Take care. All the best, and bye for now.